All right, welcome back. Everyone needs an Aquarius. We are back in the building. Dom, how are you doing? How was the H-Town?
It was good. I went there to take care of some family business and also work for DreamCon with my friends Pat and Persephone. Shout out to them.
How
We
was
had
that? How
such a
was that?
oh my god, it was like they were getting swarmed like the Beatles. We
Really?
could not literally. So I met them. And which was weird because the time was also, can y'all verify times and stuff online when DreamCon actually starts? Because when I was trying to get a hold of them, I'm seeing online that the doors open at 2. So I was like, okay, if I get down there like around 1:30, I should be good. And then Pat was like, no, we already been in and now we're going back to change and blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I'll meet y'all at your hotel. So, but I see this long line wrapped around like blocks
Before 2 o'clock.
before 2 o'clock. Like I am like, what's going on? I'm like, how have y'all already been in? And y'all say, and I'm seeing this line. So it was crazy. It was really dope. But I mean, Friday, we literally did not get to see anything. We saw like our homegirl Roxy briefly host an event that was like a kind of like a, not that it was like American Idol, like one of them performance shows, like people rapping, all this different stuff she was hosting. So we briefly saw that and we were able to do the Meg the Stallion installation. But that's all we were able to do because we had to leave because we were going to Tony Baker's show.
Oh, he had to
So
go down there during DreamCon?
yeah, so he was there doing DreamCon performing at the Improv. So it just was like random timing to meet up and see, people that we kick it with out here, which was really dope and nice. But like literally, like when I post a video, like y'all will see, like it was like lines of people and crowds of people. And the second day that I went, because I didn't go the third day because I was like, need to take care of my family stuff. But Patrick had on like an outfit that had a helmet, and people still knew it was Patrick. And Patrick was like, how did y'all know? How do y'all know it was me? And somebody's like, oh, I'm watching your stream right now. So that's how I knew. But then when he was trying to go back and shower and like change, just take a beat, I was like, you and Persephone have to separate. I'm like trying to get them to separate.
Together. It's easier.
Yeah, I was like, because if they see her, then they're gonna look, and then they can see your dreads out of that, so they are gonna assume and know that that's you. And he's trying to like, move fast because Persephone was on a panel that we barely made it in time to, for the lesbian homie with Big Jai, and man,
so the dude that does that show, he was there.
yeah. So they had a panel. And then, so that was like at 12 o'clock on
He got like 2
Saturday.
seasons of that too, don't he?
This 4 now. It's 4 seasons.
Okay. Dang.
So yeah, it's 4 seasons. And it was a really dope panel and just really, really kind of like reiterating certain things that, people say just go create. He was like, the first season, I just had the sound quality was terrible, blah, 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 blah. And then you get more people to see it and pour into it. So it's like things elevate from there. So he was talking about that. So it was really, really cool and inspiring. They had this YouTube creative studio that like Patrick and them was supposed to talk like all deaf people. And then it got canceled last minute. Like the head of all deaf canceled it, which would have been really dope to talk about like monetization, how you can monetize. But they had this cool aspect where inside the studio, you could meet with people that actually work for YouTube. So
wow.
That screenshot I sent you actually came from YouTube. Like they sent it to me. And then I talked to a girl to talk about growing, my page. She said, I encourage you, like if it's like certain podcast or a platform that you like to see how they go and like lay out the formatting of your page. You have to also come up with a schedule. How often are you going to post? Is it 3 times a week consistently on these days? Is it every day? What does that look like for you? So she was like, figure out that. And then she asked something about like, how you have access because this page is monetized and everything regarding, like she's like, oh, do you have like are you part of the YouTube creators program? I was like, I don't have access to that because you have to, hit certain metrics.
You just gotta get your hours.
she hopefully I'll be in the program, because she was like, okay, I'm gonna send you this link so we can get you some help, blah 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 blah. So yeah, it was really dope. And especially because I'm in this chapter of my life where it's like, what am I doing next? Like, what can I do? What do I want to do? What do I want that to look like? So that was really dope, because one of the key things was like, I would love to have, like 10,000 subscribers on my Instagram, my YouTube, and my podcast page, by the end of the summer, and things like that. So we were talking about like little goals and like milestones like that. And I was like, even with the subs, I was like, in the next step, I was like, for real, for me, I was like, I was so close to getting my watch hours last year, and then having to start that again. And we halfway through the year. So now I'm like, I feel like I'm scrambling to get those watch hours. So it was really, really dope. Met so many cool people. And shoot, it was people asking to take pictures with me. And they was like, oh, I know you, from here. And I can't believe the whole crew here. Like, people were really excited. So it was definitely really fun.
That is dope.
Yeah, it was really, I was just so like, what? Okay. So, but it was really dope. I think like, and I was just really proud of my friends too. For me, it was like me being able to be there to support them. And I know we always talk about friendships in the sense of like being able to really be there for somebody, and the timing just worked out. And so they were able to, give me a badge, because like, I don't know how they would have even managed that without me being in there.
That's what you need though. I mean, dude, like, we don't have no producers.
Yeah. And it's just showing up and just being there, and, like, yeah, that was it. I was, yeah, like it was just a really dope, and I don't know why my eyes are getting watery, but it was just a really dope experience just to see, but even Persephone saying like what her experience was last year versus this year. And that's all from like her and Pat like collaborating, which is crazy because Persephone has 1 million followers on Instagram. And maybe a lot of them are not blurred or whatever. Cause like that's what's a lot of the culture at DreamCon. And it's very Black, and it's really, really cool. So I ran this like my homeboy Ken Edwin, and just other creatives. Like,
was it in Houston every year?
Yeah, this is like the 8th. Next year will be the 8th year.
And so they keep it in Houston.
They keep it in Houston, so they already have the date.
They already got the relationships with all the venues. There's no point in trying to travel it around. We already know what we're doing. That's smart.
Yeah. And they already have the date for next year, and that's gonna be in July. It's like, oh Jesus, I'll make sure I have some braids, because my hair. I was lucky the 2 days that I made. Okay, like, but yeah, shout out to DreamCon. Shout out to just everybody that was there. Like, it was just really dope. It was really dope and inspiring.
Yeah, no, that's dope.
Yeah, so sorry I ran my mouth too much, but yeah.
No. Look, I mean, we ain't gonna do nothing but talk about Jaheim first off the.
Oh my God.
or do y'all want the prisoner update? I'm just.
I feel like we should give a prisoner update, then segue into Jaheim.
All right. So, all right, y'all. So we were down to 2, as we previously said. This is crazy that we're on week 3 of this. Like, we updating people. We're on week 3. The prisoner escaped from the New Orleans parish prison. That they weren't in the prison. They were actually in the jail, getting ready to be sent to prison. A lot of them are going to court for their court date. And we were down to Antoine Massey and Derrick Groves. Yep. Now we're going to show Derrick Groves has now decided to go online to tell his part of the story. We're not going to play all of it, but here's Antoine Groves, a little bit from him.
I'm one of the ones that was let out the GC.
Did he say the one of the people that was let out? Like, he didn't escape.
Okay, continue. Because the fact that he's saying he was let out because he was wrong. Okay.
All right.
Let out the GC. what I want to talk about today is as far as why I was in Orleans Parish Jail. I was in custody for almost 8 months. All right, 6 months, something like that. I was in there for theft of a motor vehicle and domestic abuse involving strangulation. That's what I was in Orleans Parish for. Okay, but before I was in Orleans Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center. All right, St. Tammany Jail here in St. Tammany Parish. There's 2 different parishes, Orleans and St. Tammany. Okay, today what I want to talk about is that I was on 2nd degree.
Go ahead.
What is this paper? This paper press release that he about to read?
Oh, it's you asked. You finna find out in a second.
Because what?
Degree rape, domestic abuse, battery involving strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective order, right? On this.
All right, I'm gonna play the part with
Diamond White. That's her name. This is a district attorney drop form right here. And she's not a child. She's an adult, a full adult. I was dating this woman. This is a legalized affidavit saying all allegations against me is false. You remember, all allegations against me is false. I was nowhere around her or none of that during the timing of the date, which was November the 10th. Of 2024, okay, so I was in St. Tammany, right, and I was on a regular domestic charge, right, so they put a parole hold on me because I was on a domestic charge. So with that being said is that,
hold on, he was on parole for a domestic charge. Did you hear that? And then he caught another domestic charge. But he didn't do it.
But then he said, based on this affidavit that he has in his hands, that these charges are supposed to be dropped.
once that occurred,
I mean, technically.
But I'm saying you did it because you're already on probation for domestic before this.
Which is how he was in jail. It was revoked.
Yep.
And then he's in jail for this. But then he's saying this new paperwork that was entered by the DA said that he was clear of these charges, so he was supposed to be let out.
That's what he's claiming.
But not okay, sir. Not like that. That's not how you're supposed to be let out.
No.
Now, what you should have been doing is getting your attorney, your peer, whomever on the line to get you out when this happens. Y'all have to stop going on the internet. Y'all gotta, we talk about this all the time. Stop going on the internet. Call them people. Call the people. Because you coming to us and public opinion don't matter in the court of law. It has nothing to do with that. Regardless of how you trying to spin it all the time. But the facts are the facts. And so now you have a legal document that said that. So you look. And y'all got to stop being stupid and getting on the internet because y'all act like IPs are not traceable.
You are now like
you look crazy. So I want people to understand that they can trace your IP.
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Is, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Is.
You not out there using like a blocker to trace your IP. Nigga, Patrick and them just did a story talking about how a guy was using a signal blocker on his commute to work that would disrupt the towers so people would not be on their phones. So he could have a clear commute to work. Somehow, it was like Boost Mobile or I think it was Boost Mobile that reported this first to the
So
FCC.
basically everybody's phone got messed up while they were
They-
driving.
on this commute, whatever.
Huh.
And so he must have been taking the same commute to work. That's the only thing I can think of.
So people probably think like, man, every time I'm riding on this area, it's just always going out.
Exactly. So they were able to trace that blocker. Then from there, trace it back to him and find him $48,000. So they can figure it out. They can track that IP where you from. So whomever house you was at, they about to get in trouble.
Yep, because they're
And
gonna
you
be
going back to jail.
a runaway prisoner.
Yep, and you going back to jail because you ran away. You like listen, y'all gonna think I'm pro cop, pro jail. Oh no, it's not like that. I'm like, and I know the system is not built for us, like for us to do anything, right? But nigga, how many people get wrongfully accused for stuff and turn around and able to have a civil case, and the city gotta pay them, the county gotta pay them? You gotta go through the due process. And it happens. Oh, you missed out on a bag, a potential bag.
Don, we got an update on him. They kicked in the door of that crib.
Told what I say.
They said he was not at home, the official said, but the authorities did locate some clothing and believe that was his during the filming. Authorities have been tipped to the videos we were posted on Sunday by relatives who recognized the residence from which Massey was speaking. It was not immediately clear who owned the home. Authorities say they were investigating the videos that they raced to capture Massey and convicted murderer Derek Groves more than 2 weeks after 10 inmates made the audacious thing, blah, blah, blah. So he's in New Orleans somewhere.
Idiot.
My thing is, he said let out. He's like, because if he has more videos.
I know, this is not, listen.
He said that the other dude, I didn't threaten him. How did he even get to be able to do that? I just walked through the open door. Like, I was let out. I thought that he was part of dude, y'all have y'all video running. That's not being let out. You walk out of prison if you being let out.
Right. You ran out. And you have, if this paperwork is legitimate paperwork where you could have been getting out sooner rather than later, and now you're gonna be
he got other charges though, Dom. That's why they probably held him on that first thing and some other stuff. He just trying to.
Well, then there you have it.
But
maybe you could have been, depending on what those charges are, you could have been made bail or bond. Y'all gotta use your mind. Like I said, what did I just say? You said what the update was. I said y'all act like they're not able to trace this stuff.
Right? People's like, I know that crib. That's over on Wabata. Like,
and you know, niggas trying to get that money.
Yep. Hey, you ain't lying. They are
niggas like shit. And we see, you know, I know a lot of people didn't like Queen and Slim. But we see what niggas will do for money. And even though it ain't a lot, because with the money that they offering wasn't a lot of money. $25,000, I think that's what it was per person. It ain't a, and then taxes got to hit.
Do they get taxed?
I don't know. I was just thinking they be trying to tax everything.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on. But my man Derek Groves, though, hey, any moment now, Derek Rose is his name.
Oh,
no, not Derek Rose.
Man, but it's just crazy. Like I literally says they gonna trace the video. Why would you do that?
Maybe
like why aren't y'all on burner phones at this point? The social media ain't that great for y'all to be, you know, if you really want to be so free. That other cat in Mexico. Derek is in Mexico.
Hold on. Yeah, Derek's gone, man.
Derek is gone.
The money is taxable too. So
told you.
Yeah, it's taxable. Oh wow, you can deduct the expenses you incur while gathering information to report the person. Oh. But they said it says the FBI structured reward payments so that you spread the income over 3 or 4 years. Doing this will likely keep you out of 37% tax bracket. It's saying basically how to do it. Not that dropping to 35% or 2% offers much relief, but at least you can keep the money, more of the money. The FBI will likely withhold federal tax upon making payment. That does not mean that this is all the tax you owe. The tax you owe on the money. Oh, because you probably owe state. What kind of money get a tax lawyer to help you? Okay. And you could use them. Okay. They just gave you some tips of what to do.
Yeah.
But Derrick Groves, man, gone. Like, that's a G for you. Look, what, Antoine, you were, and why are you still in New Orleans? At least them brothers that got caught in Huntsville, Texas was 6 hours away, 4, 5, 6 hours away in the Houston area.
And was gonna head to the border.
This dude's still in New, I know the police even more mad. Like, he local? Like,
that's just wild. It's wild.
I mean, but it'll be hard for him in general, and he's not the brightest star because he needs to, first of all, having the same 3 tattoos all over your face. That's a dead giveaway. Like
you don't have makeup on. You don't have makeup. You don't, like, nobody. You ain't go to Mac.
No, he's not. He's obviously not that intelligent, Dom. I mean, he is up here.
Like, just like that other cat should have cut his dreads off. You know, all of them got hair. Y'all, that should have been the first thing y'all did.
Oh, Derrick ain't got no hair. He got a low cut.
Yeah, well, he has a low cut. But everybody else, I would have cut my hair. I would have dyed it.
Hey, Derrick on the low.
And Derrick low key could walk around like a stud. We talked about that before.
Yep.
This is pride. I would have put some titties on and kept, because they would have been like, oh shit, that looked like, but no.
And even in general, he has a general look that can look like any black guy too, though.
Yeah.
Like, even if he doesn't go the stud route, he can just blend in. And especially if he got out if he got to Mexico, oh, it's over, because then he can dip on a boat, go over to an island. He can do all kind of stuff. And if he was a kingpin, like they was claiming in the video I sent you, that he was really moving to work in the streets, maybe he got a little bread sitting somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's crazy. This is crazy.
Antoine to be around time we do the next show.
Yeah, I was like, we'll have an update next week. That's what I literally was gonna say. We'll have an update next week.
Yeah, but your boy Jaheim, though, Dom.
That's not my boy. That's y'all boy.
Jaheim.
I ain't never been a fan like that. Like the prison thug music. Don't R&B don't do it for me. And never have. And just like these niggas, like these young YNs putting like spins on timeless classic R&B, I don't like that either.
So here we go. This is Jaheim. It says Jaheim was in trouble in Metro Atlanta earlier this month. According to WSTV, the singer was arrested on May 1st for several charges of animal cruelty. He was charged with 6 counts of animal cruelty and was released from the next day. Court documents revealed that Jaheim was accused of not providing enough water, sanitary conditions, and ventilation for the dogs. Reports state he owns the following dogs: a Tweet, Pit Bull Terrier, Tip, French Bulldog, Ataka, Hound Mixed Breed, Tink, Pit Bull Terrier, Timber, Pit Bull Terrier, and Tangier, is what they're saying. Wow.
This, like, and you know that's a family member that snitched on him.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Or a neighbor, if they're outside dogs. That's a neighbor or a
man. Have they done an unsung on Jaheim?
No, I don't think so. But like, it's people that love Jaheim, like, and that's cool. Like, I like that for y'all. And notice how I said for y'all, so that's shady. I don't know, like, and it's weird because, like, I know somebody that has traveled, that was overseas at one point and traveled back to the States to go see a Jaheim show and to get there, and it's canceled. And like diehard, like Stan Jaheim account, and I don't understand it, but but Jaheim is one of the people, like, you know how you might have a song that you don't really care for or whatever, or multiple songs. It's like how I feel about Kim. Like, and I know a lot of people share the sentiments about Kim with me. You know, I feel like there's a tribe of us that don't like him, but it's like weird because you know the songs even though you don't enjoy the artist performing the songs.
Yeah.
So I can't sing. I can't sing a Jaheim song cover to cover, but I would know like a chorus maybe because somebody is playing it in the beauty shop, or
I mean,
a family.
he got some joints.
That's cool. They're not for me.
Yeah, he's got some joints though. Like you can't deny him on that. Now he did have that production going. Originally, all that production coming from KG from Naughty by Nature, and RL was writing a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, I think that's like maybe RL, but for me, vocally, he's not my favorite.
I can get that. I can get that.
Yeah,
like, but he was. I mean, it's no way he could tour on those tours, those R&B tours, and make money for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he sure can, and he had been. So I don't know. So maybe he on tour now and then forgot to feed and water his dogs and have somebody go over there to do that.
Man, he looked like in that mugshot made him look like.
But he was on a tour
with Samuel Jackson and Black Snake Moan. That's how he looked. That's how he looked. He didn't look like he was on tour.
But he was on tour looking crazy like that. He got to let the hair go. And it's okay, fellas. Some of y'all look better with bald heads.
So
it don't seem like based on the front part, it don't seem like he got a terrible head shape.
So it looks like he has no tour dates this year. I'm looking up on Ticketmaster. No tour dates, unless it's something that's more private, maybe.
But I mean, how you not taking care of the dog?
I mean, it's just the fact that it's just the fact that he's just always into something. Like every couple of years, we see Jaheim into something.
Yeah,
like that's weird. Like it all started when he started dressing up as when he dressed up as the Joker that time at the
when he used the funeral.
Yes, that's when it started. That's when it started for him. That is when it started for Jaheim.
Somebody, wait.
What?
I have to read this comment.
Go ahead.
Somebody said, shit, don't look like he getting enough water and sanitary conditions either.
Damn. Because it's true. He does look like it.
Y'all. Now, that has 13,000 likes, almost 14,000 likes, that statement.
Oh.
Somebody said he should have never put that woman first. Now look at him.
Oh.
Wow. Y'all, listen, we be crafty in them comments.
Oh man, it's some great comedians out there. I mean, Twitter showed us that off the flip, that it's some funny people out there. We just don't know about who they are. But these IG comments be something brutal. Different. Yeah. So next up, this is something close to your heart. It's kind of messed up. I'm gonna play this.
First, now at 5, a popular actor you probably know from King of the Hill dies tragically. Tonight, we're learning new information about his shooting death as police charge his neighbor with murder. Jonathan Jaws, as he was known in the entertainment world, was the voice actor who played John Redcorn for years. Police say a long...
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
Neighborhood feud turned deadly last night on the south side. Sue Kalberg is on Dorsey off of Morrison Road, where neighbors and police say this was a long time coming. Sue?
Sarah, many of the neighbors I spoke to said Jonathan Joss Gonzalez and his neighbor, who lives just 50 yards away, have a long history of trouble. As a matter of fact, people say both men have been carrying weapons and trading threats for years. And when I asked San Antonio police for calls for service for these two addresses, they sent me the list, and it is extensive. It just goes on and on and on. But still, people have been telling me they're surprised by the tragic turn of events, because these men, they say, have been arguing and then going their separate ways for years without critical incident until last night. Now, neighbors say when Joss's house was destroyed by a fire several months ago, ever since then he's been coming to check on his mail, and the conflict started up again last night. And the neighbor, who everybody calls Freddie, Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez, shot Joss in his own driveway. So many people here who grew up with the actor and called him the class clown at McCollum High School say they're sad his career, which was bright, is over.
He was just really a loyal person, funny, anything you can ask for. But as everything would happen, you know, you get older, wiser, and then you become rock bottom where they stop asking you to stop filming.
Now, Alvarez, the man who is accused of murder, remains in jail. His bond is set at $200,000. Live in South San Antonio, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
All right, and some more context to that that they didn't talk about was allegedly his husband said that this man had been harassing them because of them being a gay couple, gay married couple, and that he was lacing out with different homophobic epithets.
Yeah.
Before he, unalived them, the gentleman. I mean, this King of Hills, your show, man. I mean,
this is heartbreaking.
I had to text to you personally. Like,
I know. And shout out to everybody that sends me stuff that I enjoy and that is geared toward me. And this is one of those unfortunate ones. Everybody's making sure that I saw it. So it's funny because one of the there's this rewatch podcast called Boy King of the Hill Rewatch, and I've been on their show, talking about my love of King of Hill and everything. And so they actually had interviewed Jonathan Joss this past weekend at ATX. There was a festival down in Texas, and so they have like the final interview with him, and they were just saying how enjoyable he was, and part of it was kind of like bittersweet sad. But, it's just really bizarre, especially considering that we are now in, Pride is one of the things that is celebrated in the month of June, and this happening on the first day of June. And the husband, like you said, did share that, that this guy had been, consistently harassing them. And that's been like the root of a lot of the issues just because they are gay. And it sucks because this brings back so many different things just about people in general, regardless of sex, race, class, creed, just being able to exist. And the dangers for just being able to show up as you. And it's just so unfortunate. And like the newscaster said, they were going to check on mail. They were waiting on a check from their house being burned down. Like, that's why they were back there grabbing mail and all of this. When they walked up to the house, they lost their pets in this fire. So someone had went through the rubble, and sitting at the front of all this like debris and stuff is the skull of one of their animals. Someone moved that and purposely put that there.
Oh,
and
wow.
They believed that it was this neighbor that had been harassing them. And like they said, this has been an ongoing feud that unfortunately erupted into the death of Jonathan Joss. So it's just really sad to see this happen. And everybody loves John Redcorn. So much. We have Sir that has this hit song called John Redcorn that mirrors the like King of the Hill. And where you have even Mike Judge, like seeing the video and thinking it was really cool that, you know, someone paid homage to the show, and it's just really crazy. And
were they trying to were they thinking about rebooting it or something?
No, it's so technically it's not even a reboot, it's a revival. Like, so this has been greenlit for like a couple years now. So now they had a date because unfortunately it was greenlit, and then I don't know, you know, writer strike, all that stuff happens. So there's been like these delays. So you have a couple of characters that already have passed on. You have Brittany Murphy, who played Luann. If I'm not mistaken, her husband on the show, Rusty, is also passed. Then earlier in this year, you have Dale's voice, Toby Hardwick, pass away as well. And so
it's moving. I'm looking it up now. They replaced Hank Hill voice. They got a whole bunch of people.
Well, no, they didn't replace Hank. That's played by Mike Judge. So yeah, that's played that, like, so they were replacing Toby. So Toby Huss, who was also a cast member, I forget all who he voiced, but he comes in. You'll see him do, because they got greenlit for 2 seasons at the moment. So you'll see him come in, I think like episode 8, because they filmed 7 episodes with the original Dale. And then now John Redcord, if should they replace him, which I would assume that they would, this will be the 3rd person to replace voice actor for John Redcord, because the original actor, he died in a car accident after season 1.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So King of the Hill is such a great show. Like, and I like, so what happens is this picks up, it's like 7 years from where the season ends. And the season kind of abruptly ended because it didn't feel like any closure. So I don't know. I can't remember what the reasoning was.
They said that they went to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so they go to Saudi Arabia. Hank goes and takes a propane job. So they leave and come back. But Bobby is now a chef.
Okay.
And all these different things, which I can't wait to see how they play that, because, you know, Bobby is like us. Like, he's this creative kid. He wants to go to Hollywood or New York and be this star. So I'm gonna be but then toward the end of the season, you see him taking a liking to different things. Like, there's an episode where he is able to, like, they have like competitions and stuff for people for like marbling and stuff when it comes to meat, like knowing a cut and all this stuff by looking at it. So he's like getting involved in different things that way. But yeah, man, because he wanted to be a comic. Because they had an episode where there's like Chris Rock.
I remember seeing
that. Yeah. So
it's
just really sad, because everybody has been so excited about this reboot and seeing what the updates are and the new characters, and seeing how people have kind of aged and changed with like the times of politics. Because, you know, you got to think now we've already been through a presidency of Trump, Biden, and so it's just interesting to see. So like I said, I can't wait. I can't wait. Like the new intro has me very, very excited. And I know that there's some conversation about, oh, they don't look the same. I'm like, well, at this point, you know, by season, I think like 8 or 9, they were no longer hand drawing King of the Hill anyway. Like, it was all computer animation for the most part. So that's just what it is. So I'm not mad at it. I'm just excited that it's back and we get a lot of crazy wit. And I'm excited. But this is just really, really unfortunate and sad.
Like,
man, so rest in peace to you.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace to that brother, man. Yeah. So next up, P Valley will be back soon, allegedly. Let me see here what they say here on the wire. Season 3, right? Or is it season 4?
This will be season 3.
It's supposedly. Oh, they're supposed to have been out in earlier this year. They was claiming.
Yeah.
Instagram page. They don't have nothing up. But supposedly Nikki Gilbert of the group Brownstone. People did not know that she's been in a legal battle with P Valley for the last,
few
couple
years.
years.
Yeah.
She basically said that she came up with the concept of that with a play that she created. I guess.
Yes.
And now supposedly she's getting sued, she has to pay. I guess. I'm trying to understand why she's paying. Is it court fees she has to keep paying for this?
So this is saying that Brownstone and longtime advocate for Black creators has taken to social media to speak her truth after being hit with a major financial blow in her ongoing lawsuit against Lionsgate. The fight center on her claims that the hit show P Valley was based on her original concept, Soul Kittens Cabaret. She now has been ordered to pay the entertainment giant $170,000 in legal fees. But this just isn't about the money, according to Gilbert. It's about what she describes as intellectual property theft, a deeper form of violence that doesn't leave bruises but destroys generational wealth and silences voices that can't afford $1 million legal battles. And so in her pinned post, Gilbert draws attention to how many cases like hers centered around ownership and creativity and fairness rarely get the same attention as headline grabbing celebrity scandals involving guns or allegations. That doesn't make this less important. That's violence too. According to her post, Gilbert says that she was denied a jury trial, had depositions redacted, and even had her 30-year expert witness struck from the record. She alleges her verified meeting with Lionsgate was completely ignored in court. The system only works for wealthy and powerful, she wrote. If you think what's happening to me can't happen to you, keep watching. And the final swipe at the court's judgment, Gilbert asked followers if they could genuinely look at the similarities between her work in P Valley and say with a straight face that her family deserves to be financially destroyed over it. Yeah. So at this moment, it's legal fees, but we heard about this. We've been hearing about this the entire time, pretty much since P Valley aired, that Nikki Gilbert has been speaking out against this. And there had been other people that could verify that she did have those meetings with Lionsgate. And this is the weird thing that we talk about when I have creative friends that are in pitches and all these different things. And as a person that's starting, writing on her own, and things that, that have come back to me from people that have taken meetings, they'll have somebody write a pitch or, like a treatment about something and then pass it to you and ask you what you can do with it or whatever. And if they have like a concept or something and they'll like my friend has told me there's like, they've asked me to read and I'm like, no, I'm not reading that. Like, why would I want to take from somebody else's work when you want me here to do what I do? So you have to be very careful and strategic.
So you think that's because
it happens all the time. It happens in fashion all the time. Like so many people. So like
no,
there
I'm
was
saying
so
in
many
this situation because the other girl claims she came up with this or whatever. Too, as well. Was her name Katoi? The young lady that created P or that claims she created P Valley or is it right now? Katori Hall is her name.
Yeah. You know what? And it could have been something like, here's the thing. And the other thing you have to be mindful of, just like we talked about last week with Ray J in that tour, you gotta be careful. So, and it sucks that how you have to protect your own IP. And somebody could have shared something with Katori that they've had a meeting with, connected with Nikki Gilbert, and they knew that she could probably perfect this idea a little better. And it could have been something.
Or if you had an idea of something and took a concept and that was like, yo, that'll complete the shit you was already working on.
Yep. And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I think that it is very likely, and we see this happen all the time with the studios, if they can prove or, infringement upon this copyright. So it's tricky. It's tricky because somebody came out. It was a black girl that came out. I believe she was black. Yeah, it was a black girl that came out and said that Abbott was her idea.
Abbott Elementary?
Mm-hmm. So there you have that aspect of that, where, but like I said, if you have an idea for something, you have to also remember everybody could have a similar idea.
Exactly. Because you heard about the Coming to America that a dude in Alabama claimed that he came up with it. And
I've never heard that, but I can see that.
But no, but it's one of them where this is back in the day though. Like maybe it could have, but he did send it to, I forgot what, let's say it's Lionsgate. Not Lionsgate, let's say New Line Cinema. It's not New Line Cinema, but let's just say it for this case.
Yeah.
He sent it, he did the old poor man's
poor man's copyright. Yeah.
And then he sent one to them too, and then it came out because he's claimed that the idea of the African thing was like his family did a similar thing or whatever with their family coming from Africa to Alabama or something along those lines, if I remember correctly. But think about how many scripts. That's why they say they don't. Normally they say they don't send unsolicited scripts, or even for books, unless you have an agent already presenting it.
Yep. And you still have to be aware even with your agent, and your agent will tell you that.
But also, I think sometimes people think, man, like and this is nothing. Nobody. This is not. I talked about this in our Ryan Coogler review of Sinners. Me and Teddy came up with a concept similar to that like 2 years ago, but he didn't take our idea. But at the same time, when you put
Doja, they sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, though.
Seriously, man. Just Posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We said labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
I'm gone.
And he do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
Certain ideas or energy into the air, you gotta be getting on it because you put it out there, or maybe you didn't even come up with it. Maybe it's out there in the universe for us creators to snatch, and we think it's our own idea because no idea is original. So when you get an idea, you gotta jump on that shit because now it's out there.
Yep, that's true. All the time. Like I remember when I first moved to LA, and I know I gotta wrap it up. But like I remember the person formerly known as my cousin saying something about like, oh, there should be a way that you could charge your phone and just sit it down on like a battery device where it charges your phone. This was 2010. And here we are, and that's a thing. And I was like, and it'd be good ideas, but it's just somebody beat you to it.
Yep. And then you put it out there. You put it out there. Somebody else is sitting there like, hey man, this is and maybe somebody else, you maybe took it for somebody. Maybe the universe is just skipping from person to person until somebody jumps on this idea.
Yeah. It could be that. It could be that, but it happens. But this is definitely
a little bit different, but
yeah, this is going to be I feel like a case that'll come up in media law.
I was gonna say that. I was just like, I can see a media law class.
This one is this will be interesting to see how this play out.
All right, as we wrap up, I wanted to play a little update for everybody that was thinking about what's going on here in my city of St. Louis, Dom City as well, with the tornadoes that hit. Just want everybody to peep this out. This is a little bit more updated information from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I'm trying to remember the young lady's name real quick. Hold on, y'all, because I want to give her props for putting this together. Her name is Allie Schallert. Allie Schallert. Check this out. This is a pretty good piece about STL and what's been going on.
At 2:41 on Friday, May 16th, an EF3 tornado touched down in St. Louis. It reached 1 mile in width with wind speeds up to 152 miles per hour. The storm ripped through areas like Clayton and Forest Park in the Central West End to neighborhoods of North St. Louis like Fountain Park, Kingsway East, and O'Fallon. The storm broke windows and uprooted trees, as well as ripping off walls, roofs, and collapsing entire buildings.
This is my home, and it's gone.
What I thought was just a high wind turned into something that I've never experienced in my entire life.
Search teams spent the next few days going house to house looking for victims, and they found dozens injured and 5 dead. The tornado warning went out at 2:38 p.m., but many people say that they never heard the tornado sirens go off. The city's emergency management staffers were at a training and not in the building to turn the sirens on, so the director called the fire department to activate the sirens.
Okay, you got the sirens? Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you so much. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
And in a later test, it was discovered that the button to activate the sirens in the fire department was broken.
The button at the fire department was not working as it should have been. We knew there was weather coming. We should have been at the button.
Cleanup started shortly after reports of the storm, with volunteers, companies going out to the storm-damaged areas to help clean up the debris and provide supplies. Local and federal government officials have also been asking for help from the Federal Emergency Management Administration.
We are continuing to push for federal funds. This disaster is of massive scale, and no city in the nation can possibly shoulder this alone.
But a FEMA spokesperson said that they don't have a timeline and don't know when that aid will be approved. Insurance coverage widely varies in areas hit by the storm, with the rates of people being uninsured in some northern census blocks of St. Louis being as high as 70%. Some people have left their damaged homes, but many say that they can't afford to leave and that they need to protect their homes from looters. The National Guard arrived on May 28th to run trash collection sites as cleanup and repair work continues. If you'd like to find ways to help or get help, we have a resource page on our website at stltoday.com.
All right. Yeah, man. I think are people talking about this out there on the West Coast like that?
Not honestly, not really. You know, they're really not. And I think that when I see people post about it, today I saw like a friend of mine post something, but he's originally from like the Midwest to like Ohio. But not really. And that's what's also interesting, because it's just as much devastation in dollar amount as it is, like, you know, with the fires.
That's what I'm asking. That's
and
what I'm like.
So, but then it's still, we're still in recovery mode from the fires. So I think that they can't even, like, people processing like what has happened. It's just really interesting to see it. And, you know, I had just seeing that there are people's homes being condemned and nobody telling them, and, you know, people trying to sell people's property. Like, it's just really disgusting and sad. And, you know, all we could do, like those people said, like, we can't afford to move. We have to protect our homes. We have to, you know, figure this out. Like, it's still just shocking to me, and to have to, I don't even know what to say, because it's just so sad. And that was my main concern, was people really on the north side not being insured properly if they have insurance, right?
Yeah, and these homes are generations, people, like,
yeah,
some people in names not even on the deed. That's how much it's separated.
So I don't know. It's definitely tough. And it's an uphill battle for sure. Like I told you, I have my best friend is displaced because of this. And he's just been having a hard time just trying to figure out what's next, because, you know, his floor wasn't damaged, but it's the floor above him and the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's on the west side, right?
Yeah, he was on the west side. So he was by right behind like the loop.
Right.
Like, yeah, at like King, like, what is that? King's Highway in Del Mar. So he's behind the People Center. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's like the People Center area. And so it's just really tricky. And we know that people are going to come through and try to get your property for pennies on a dollar. And
yeah, but the problem is that I was reading that they can't do that because the deeds is all messed up, or people finna get got too. Of like,
that's what I was saying. I was like, and we know that people are gonna get taken advantage of because of that.
But I'm talking on the seller side too, is what I'm saying. I mean, on the buyer side, because what if I told you could buy my crib, but I can't tell you to buy the crib? We never changed the deed. So now I got to check off for you, and you don't necessarily own this crib.
Yep. But somebody, but I would hope that people would be more business savvy and not giving people credit.
That's what the mortgage lenders do, are when they're going through the deed, making sure that it's all correct. So, but but pray for the city of St. Louis, and I will keep trying to update y'all on that. Make sure y'all check out Surviving Diddy Wednesday night. We'll be back. Whenever you're hearing this, make sure you come over to SOLC Network or come to St. Angela's page. We'll be doing Surviving Diddy Wednesday evenings. Don, where can I hit you up at?
Y'all can hit me up at St. Angela's everywhere. And OD, there's some people commenting about you on the Michael Jackson episode.
Oh,
so,
no.
No, it's not. They're not necessarily bad.
Okay, necessarily.
They're not. Somebody agrees with you.
Okay.
But
it's healthy discussion. You're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So and then we have a new episode that just dropped, featuring my friend.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that one yet because I was like, I don't understand what's going on yet. I was like, I got to sit there with that one because I don't understand what's the title.
Well, I can give you a brief synopsis.
No, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, it's a lot of chaos that's kind of happening. Cause Donald starts it with his sister has a history of rage, and then it goes to Keisha's in her her parties that she has, where she goes in the bathroom and there's a surprise on her floor. There you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
that's it. So
always, and we'll be back soon. Thank y'all. Surviving Diddy. All right. Peace.